Hi, Nino.
Hey.
Why do you sound so sad?
I'm not sad. Holding back, I genuinely am more upset and pissed than I think I've been in a minute.
Okay. Can
So,
you
I know for
explain
the...
what you're upset about?
Oh my god, I don't even know where to begin, to be honest.
Well,
You know
begin
when you...
somewhere.
I spend a lot of time holding back a lot of anger. Because I know that if I don't hold that anger back, that instead of seeing performance, I'm probably going to instead be met by tears. And I've gotten pretty good at that, I think. You know? This accusation, that accusation, this bullshit, that bullshit. Months of this. Months of this. All in hopes that maybe things will get better, but it only gets worse. And, you know, I can take so much on a daily basis, right? That I can just like ignore it and whatever. But it just keeps getting worse. And I think today, it definitely takes the cake. Maybe not because of the, I don't know if it's the volume of things that I've been witness to. Or maybe it just is I've been building it up for so long that today the cracks have started to form. I don't know if it's you know, Tuesday. Getting a phone call from BCSO. A guy named Snoop, decent guy, deputy, asking me to be SK's lawyer. And I tell him, like, I don't do that. It's not right. I got ethics. I can't take a side between one and the other. Because if I do, then it's going to look a certain way. It's like, but there's no other lawyers. I try to help him out, try to get a lawyer. Didn't go down. I got called down again. Doing a bench trial. Go down there. I was only going to watch anyways. I see from the state announcement. And everyone's like, oh, you know, go and do it. No, we need you to yeah, go ahead and be his lawyer. Judge says it. All these BCSO officers say it. SK wants me to. I'm like, fuck it, okay? I mean, listen, if you guys really want it. 3 times, I tell him. Like, are you sure? This doesn't seem right. And then SK walks. Because what was presented was a man that was in the passenger seat of a vehicle, shot, possibly, no weapon, no GSR, probably not even enough to articulate a search. Yet, here we are in a trial. Why? Who fucking knows? And the entire fucking Blaine County Sheriff's Office shows up to prosecute this guy that they got no evidence for. It was so bad that a guy fucking came out of fucking ICU in his goddamn hospital frock to go down there to help Mason or whatever the fuck. And these fucking dumb klutzes couldn't even didn't even tell the judge how they believe he's a fucking gang member, let alone why they believe that he had any involvement in a shooting. It was all make-believe. It was all speculation. And at the end of that trial, one of them goes, I'm going to see you back here soon. Notwithstanding the understanding that he literally just admitted to targeting SK maliciously. The intent.
Wait, who said
fucking
that?
Mason Dixie. It's in a report. We made sure that Snoop wrote it down alongside the other ones. And throughout this entire thing, you got members of the Saints standing over there working with the fucking prosecution against this case. And during that, and I can swear to you, Daisy, SK heard it too. Whatever they were talking about, hey, don't tell the other Saints this. You're not supposed to be hearing this. Like, what the fuck? And you know what the worst thing about it is? Is that this fucking dumb shit, Ventura apparently goes to your PD meeting, the joint one yesterday, and tells everyone that the reason they lost is only because SK claimed he wasn't in the manor anymore. Not because the PD didn't prove how he's in a gang by citing a citing a singular report.
I just talked to somebody about gang tags and said that we need to make a procedure because but I'll tell you about it. I'm actually kind of excited about it. But anyways,
they not only didn't put anyone on the fucking stand that was witness to any of this, their reports weren't finished. The people that witnessed it already went to sleep. There was fucking 8 of them, Daisy. 8 of them. And they only got, because he said he wasn't in the Saints. They didn't even fucking explain why they believe he is. You're supposed to, you gotta do that. They didn't explain how he was even involved in the shooting. They just said, well, usually when someone doesn't have anything, it means they're robbed. And he was probably shot beforehand. That's not how the law works. You have to articulate how. You can't just say, well, normally this happens.
yeah.
And the worst of it was, they had a problem, apparently, all of a sudden, that I was his fucking goddamn attorney when they told me to do it. But that was only the start of the day, and I kind of brushed it off.
They had a problem with you being his attorney
After
they asked you to do it?
This is the kind of trash that exists in law enforcement. Trash. These are not cops. You do not patrol the fucking street based on your fucking emotions and your personal agendas.
I mean, I've been saying to Peters that
Fucking a gang member one day. But next day, you know what? But we don't fuck with them. Literally fucking one gang and then fucking over the next. That's not even the all of it. I can't go into the details about this, Daisy, because you got to understand, right? It's certain things I can't talk about, right? I just got done learning that someone just betrayed the trust of a good friend of mine. And when I learned about this betrayal and I confronted him, it was all fucking excuses. Fucking excuse after excuse after excuse. And when I tell this guy, you need to go confront him and tell him what happened and understand what you risked, he just fucking stood there with more excuses. I had to hold myself back from beating the living shit out of him. I don't know. It's then you got all the other things that have been happening, right? You know, situation with Pred, right? The situation with my boys.
doing?
He's doing awful. I don't even know if he's got it in him anymore. He's off playing golf right now. I mean, what would you do, you know? You're getting targeted right off the bat. because of the level of hatred that people have towards them. For what? Like, I mean, there's at a certain point you got to just accept what's happening. But like the
Yeah, I mean,
guy,
you know, like look what happened with Peters and I. Like I think things were a million times harder than they needed to be, just because people were so adamantly against us being in the positions that we were in. You know?
yeah, the nasty things that have been said for the last 4 months. I mean, I see them. I get fucking, it triggers the shit out of me. What the fuck is
Yeah,
this?
for the most part, let it. You know, uh, don't don't really worry too much about it anymore. It kind of is what it is.
You're stronger than most though, Daisy, right?
I have my days. Don't get me wrong.
You have your days, but you're still here, right?
Yeah,
I
I
want you to think about
definitely.
all those that can't take it, and where are they? And that's where my anger stems from.
Yeah, I you know that day that there was that stupid traffic court thing with
Mm,
the BCSO and the LSPD,
traffic
uh,
court.
where Alana was trying to give Bean a ticket, and Bean said
Oh
that
yeah.
crazy shit on the stand, and I had a long talk with Barrick earlier than that, and you know, afterwards, and I think I was crashing out that day. I was not feeling good that day. But um you know, I think I think for me, having that talk with Barrick, being able to speak with somebody who I think really understands some of the things that
Yeah.
I'm kind of up against, um really kind of helped. And I can see how much of a challenge it can be for you, given the fact that you don't really have any peers in your position. There's no
No.
one there's no one that you can go to that can like really understand.
That's
And
why I wanted
I'm
Pred
sorry about
to
that.
win. Oh, it's okay. Look, I've had to play this role multiple times throughout my life. It's not easy. I can handle it, right? It's just I my anger is not about what I have to deal with. I know the responsibilities. I know what it comes with. Um, but it's the
Do you see a bunch of people doing dumb shit and there's not a whole lot you can do about it?
no.
Yeah. And I feel the same. Like, you know, I could go back to um the harsher SOP for the jurisdictional authority that I had before, even though frankly it wasn't that harsh. It was just a little bit different. But I know what kind of chaos that would cause. In the fact that like BCSO would just lose their shit, right? Like
You know they're bleeding Blaine County dry right now?
I
Their books are in the negative as of 4 days ago. Right? Can't do anything about it. You can't reason with stupid.
You know, I was saying to Peters the other day, I was kind of joking about it, but I don't know, it's such a joke anymore. That I know I kind of gave you a hard time about the commissioner shit. But maybe it is just time to start over, you know? Just a clean slate for the PD, because things are just still difficult.
You'd have to prove to me that you can run your county first. Even if that means pissing off Blaine County. Because their feelings cannot be respected or considered more than your population that you are responsible for. Because you're still going to have to, if you were given that position, would have to still be responsible to the people of the city.
Of course. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, Nino. I don't even I don't know that I'm the right person for that position. It's not about that. It's, you know, I think that the PD is in a difficult state because we have 4 people at the top. You know, not including the captains, but you know, it's me, the assistant chief, the sheriff, the undersheriff, who disagree on the fundamental ways that like the PD should function and be run. And the hard part about it is I haven't really seen any compromise on their end, and I feel like I continually have to compromise. And you know, we know one thing that Bone said to me the other day. He said that he was, you know how they stayed up north during all of that when I had enforced that SOP. He said that he was playing the card of numbers and that was the only card he had. So that's why he was holding people up north. It wasn't about principles.
Oh.
He was trying to force my hand to change it because they held the numbers back.
All you said is that y'all have jurisdiction down here and they took their toys and they went up north. And now, as a consequence, you have people like Ventura leading your own offices astray, taking over scenes down here. And so when I stand here and have to talk to people who say, why is this happening? Why is PD doing this? What am I going to tell them? Because Blaine County Sheriff's Office is telling all the police to do X, Y, and Z. I wonder if anyone even bothered to talk to the judge after his ruling, because they sure as shit didn't comprehend a word that was said. They still think that SK only got off because of the words he stated, not because they failed to even give an ounce of explanation on the stand how they believe he's even in a gang, let alone what his involvement was, how they properly searched him. This is probably a fucking massive lawsuit. You know, it also, I was kind of thinking about the stuff with the Hydra raid. You know, I don't know why you have to be the one prosecuting it. I understand why, right? Who else is going to do it? But then I asked myself the question, how do y'all even have time when you have so much else on your plate while simultaneously getting screwed left, right, and center from the marshals? I know you had a conversation with one of them, but that doesn't change what they did.
No, it doesn't. And the couple people that I spoke to, I think I spoke to Maxwell about the conversation with the marshals. And what I said was ultimately actions speak louder than words. even though it was a very good conversation, I'm not really going to put a ton of weight into it until, like, their actions kind of reflect the things that we spoke about. Um I just can't. I can't take them for their word, you know. I do think that Anna Lockhart has good intentions, but that's one Marshall out of all of them, you know.
And the problem is as soon as she's given you marching orders, she can't refuse that.
No. I mean, as far as the Hydra thing goes,
Can I be plain with you?
well, yeah.
I think Dan is fucking you right. Dan is fucking you right now.
Well, he's on an LOA.
That's my point.
Yeah, I don't know why
I
he's
think
on
you
an
should drop the
LOA,
entire fucking case and focus on building up the PD. I'm not telling you to do this. I want to be clear about that. But if I was in your position, I'd fucking slap Den across the fucking face. You'd drop the whole thing, not waste your time with it. Realize it's the whole thing is cooked, and stand up on a political front and say, this has been a massive mishandling. There was some mistakes here, but the other fucking parties that interjected themselves completely cooked that case. Win some fucking brownie points with the goddamn people and use that as an opportunity to say, what are our milestones to get LSPD to where it needs to be? In terms of numbers, in terms of making sure you can get gang-related charges pressed in the stick, and work on those standards before trying to take on the fucking end boss, which is a fucking raid on a massive gang. Otherwise, you kind of set yourself up to lose in court and have no leg to stand on at that point, and just another narrative. Except that narrative would fly a lot higher in the wind than standing up and say, this wasn't done right. And I want to be clear, that is not because of you, Dan, Maxwell. It's that it was only you, Dan, and Maxwell even holding up this case to begin with. Base, thank you for the 6 months.
Doc put a lot of work into it. There were other people who put work into it, but they kind of... Doc is still helping.
Sure, yeah. Doc as well, right? I mean, the few.
I'll think about it. I'll figure out, options. I gotta talk to Maxwell, because this is just as much hers as it is Denzel's. I mean, I said I'd prosecute it just because I was trying to support Denzel and Maxwell.
Maxwell sounds fucking cooked over it. Ben isn't gonna give a shit. He had his fun.
I think Maxwell is just frustrated with all the bullshit that's come after,
So I take more. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate when you...
I mean, at the end of the day, though, like, I know what you're saying, but these people, they did it. Like, we have the evidence that they did it, And just because, for some reason, the marshals decided that they need to felony obstruct and people have not been supportive of this, like, what's his face? Robin is coming in hot with everything and basically implying that, he's going to get it all thrown out. Because he knows that that's the only card that he has. Otherwise they're dead to rights. Unless he can argue that there was some kind of misconduct to the point, like gross negligence to the point where it would have to get thrown out, these people are going to jail.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with the principle of what you're saying. Did they do these things?
I mean, you look at what Snow did. Like everything that happened with Snow, with like this leak that's going on with him, with Maxwell and other officers being kidnapped.
You're, and so, but let me ask you this, right? Because I agree with you in principle. Where I think my different perspective comes from is the chief of police is having to prosecute. And I would argue that in and of itself points at where the PD is today. And I don't think it would be any different had someone else been at the helm. I want to be clear because I think you're doing a fantastic job. Is that if Blaine County
But if there's
ran
if
this,
there's no one if there's no one else to prosecute within the LSPD, what does it say about the LSPD? I
yes,
got it. I know what you're saying.
yeah, and I think and that it kind of highlights a area that needs to be developed and prioritized, right? That how do you get, and this is where I go back to milestones, right? Is what are the big things that everyone in the PD must need to know? Boom. Who are the people that we are hiring that can be the future internal prosecutors? Here's who they are, right? So that you have the time to focus on the politics and the management rather than having to effectively save others the pain, right? Now, and look, Robin's gonna come in hot. He's a defense attorney, right? What they do, gonna expect the defense attorney to come in hot. They expect prosecution to come in hot. But you know, and what happened with Snow? Absolutely, did they do these things? For sure. But sometimes, you know, you got the guns off the street. What's a couple $100,000 versus, you know, I don't know. I mean, Maxwell has been dealing with some bullshit for the past 3 hours today, right? And she told me that some guy from the 24/7, they caught him because I was with her, right? And she was in the fucking hospital for like 30 minutes, and she just told me she's still dealing with it. Apparently, some guy like was beating an off, like punched an officer or something. And I asked her, I'm like, you've been at this for 3 hours. At a certain point, the crime that's committed, probably like incarcerating the guy for 15 months, isn't worth more than the 3 hours that you of spending doing what you want to do and putting your focus on what's more important. Remember what I told you when I first put you in place, Daisy? I said, I don't care if you bring the PD down to 10 people and you can only go and deal with one robbery at a time. Unless some outside force comes in, right? Like the state officials, and they're like, Daisy, you need to do this. As the mayor, I'm saying you're never going to be able to capture 99%. Maybe not 50%.
Oh, I mean, that was never the goal. It was never the goal.
Absolutely.
I think that we really tried to put in quality of life procedures as well and policies for officers, because officers were so burnt out from running from call to call to call without any kind of break. It was one of the things that I tried to sort of resolve immediately. The goal isn't to catch everyone. It's, you know, the goal is to investigate crimes, you know, to make arrests off of those investigations, and to do it the right way.
Yeah. Is it worth, in the case of, and that's what I kind of told Maxwell, is like, is it worth you and the rest of the PD being cooked for the day over some bullshit small charge? Or you just say, fuck it. Because at the end of the day, it's a fucking Snickers bar and someone getting punched.
Yeah.
I don't know if she told you the whole thing, but this guy, like, ICU, got out of ICU, like this, that, and the fucking third. Fucking ridiculous. It's like resource management, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a lot when calls take hours. It's super draining. It shouldn't ever take that long, frankly.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna think about the Hydra stuff.
Don't feel like I
Uh,
pressured you one way or another. I'm just
no,
thinking out
I
loud.
don't think you did. I think it's something I need to think about and talk to Maxwell about.
Yeah.
Because you're right, resources, and there are, I agree, better things that I could be spending my time on. But I need to, I really need to kind of think about it and weigh all the options.
Yeah.
But I need to go to MRPD. I have to go talk to Sky about some shit. Are you good here?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Two things I want to mention to you just real quick. I chewed Forte out. Maxwell knows about it. He came to me with some bullshit that should have came to your command members. I told him we're not friends, and that if I regret putting his name forward as someone who wanted to help, only to hear that he's doing fucking dumb SBS shit, that
Wait,
I'm
what do
gonna
you
be.
mean?
He made Carmine and himself come chat with me saying BCSO is doing this and that, because apparently like some guy was like let go of out of jail by this Tylenol guy, and I told everyone to walk away so I could talk to Forte by myself, and I told him that we're not friends. Your girlfriend's in my cabinet. That does not give you special access to me. And that the next time he comes to me with a problem like this, instead of his own command members, right, and you're not, you know, instead of helping Carmine, you're spiraling and turning some small shit into something serious. You know, I'm gonna make sure that I report that directly to Maxwell, like yourself. Apparently Tylenol let some person go
Yeah,
when
I'm
neither of them
aware.
wanted to. Okay.
I'm aware of the whole thing.
The other thing I wanted to bring up is the day after the raid, there was tweets in regards to Snow was tweeting shit out. So in regards to a raid, because I noticed it the next day, right? Twats had gone out. Snow knew before 10 a.m. Eastern, when I was waking up, about what had happened. So I don't know if that's helpful, but I figured I'd let you know.
Yeah, it's good to know. We're trying to figure out some stuff with Snow.
Yeah.
Doc is working on it, and hopefully we'll have more information soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on.
You've been killing it, Moss. I want you to know that.
I mean, that's kind of you, but lately I really haven't. I definitely like stepped back the last, I would say, week or two, just because I needed to take some time to myself. And you know, I will say I'm a little disappointed in kind of how things have gone over the last 2 weeks since I have taken a step back. So I don't think I can really do that. But I do I will get things back on track. I'll just have to
I need you to run
put
your
in that
county.
time.
Otherwise, there's no point in me being in this position.
I understand.
But
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have a conversation right now about some things that might have to change within LSPD because it's causing issues with other command members.
yeah. And just so you know, it's less LSPD that's got me hoping for Armageddon. So, just in case you walk away thinking that.
No, it's. I think that look, nobody's perfect. No department's perfect.
No.
I wish I could stand here and say that LSPD is in an amazing spot and it's all BCSO. It's not.
No.
Do I think that BCSO makes my life harder? Yes. But I also, I will say Bones is doing the thing that I should be doing and exclusively looking out for his department and giving no shits about how it screws over the other one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably what I should just start doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because God, Bones has screwed me over more times than not. It's kind of
That's why I chewed him out that day.
kind of
Fucking
crazy.
guy's a
how
fucking pussy bitch. Fucking coming back smiling like he did nothing wrong. He fucking falls off a goddamn cliff.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to talk to. I need to sit down and talk to Peters.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to make some changes.
All right.
All
You
right.
take
Thank
care,
you,
Moss.
Nino.
Anytime.